Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Hello, Andy. Welcome to the stream. Wie geht es Ihnen? Was tun wir leider? Oh, it wasn't me, whatever they say. Okay, sure, Andy. Sure. Coffee's good today. So how you doing? What's going on? Did you have a good week? Yeah, let's get some music going. What do I want to play today? What do I want to play today? Kind of get away from some of the same old stuff. Let's check out something called Rooftop Rock. Coffee shop stuff like. But yeah, it was a nice week. I am doing well. A little sore, a little tired. Let me turn my volume down just a little bit. Turn up the mic here. There we go. We went for a walk. So yesterday here in Chicagoland, for an organization called Autism Speaks, they had their yearly walk. They used to be downtown at Chicago's Soldier Field, and it would be along the lakefront, and it would be a really very pretty view, especially when it was nice and sunny out, of seeing the lake on one side and downtown Chicago on the other. And I would always get some great pictures. Well, they moved it to one of the baseball fields, right field where the Chicago White Sox play. Is the mic a bit low? I just turned it up. How's that? Does that sound better? Yeah, I try to I haven't gotten used to easy effects in Linux. Um I haven't been able to kind of keep it from peaking even with a limiter on it and that. So it doesn't sound right. Cubicle Nate. Okay, my new setup isn't working. I didn't get a So I'm trying to set up uh, um, where people that stream will get a shout out, and I'm trying to do it my way, which doesn't work. Okay, the mic is working good, but no, there was not. Cubicle Nate joined the chat, and it didn't give me a shout out for him. Oh, gotta love this stuff. Let's see. I'll just deactivate this. Oh, you have a minute delay? Hey, welcome to the world. Let me disable the if else statement on this for that. And I'll have to work on that at another time. No tech stuff today. Okay. Sorry, Nate. Nate didn't get a first word shout out today. I hope you are doing well. That's what I get to I build stuff myself. But anyway, so yesterday was we did the walk at White Sox, our right field where Chicago White Sox to baseball White Sox play. A field that was they tore down the old one, which about back in 1990, and built a new one, and now they want another one. Sorry, Chicago White Sox fans. You guys are a bunch of losers. You're not going to get another stadium. But anyway, the walk there was like through parking lots and that. It was nice being in a different area. My son's never been around that area before, and he always likes going to someplace new. But my wife was having a real hard time with her knee yesterday, and I don't get too far with my back, so we didn't finish the complete walk. But it was cool. We got down there in relatively quick time. I'm out in the kind of northwestern suburbs of Chicago, and we had to go down to the south side.
Someone has joined the chat on Twitch.
There we go. Twitch is working. YouTube wasn't working. Sorry, Nate. And you made the girl cry, Nova. I should have maybe left Nova Charters in the house. Fenway, yeah, he's a Bostonian. He watches the Red Sox at Boston. The Green Monster. While he's drinking his Dunkin' Donuts. But it was a beautiful day. The event is not as big as it used to be when it was downtown. But Autism Speaks, I guess, is a good organization. I've had my ups and downs with it. There is a need for autism awareness definitely out there. And it has been since my son had been diagnosed 30 years ago. Leaps and bounds in diagnosis, engagement, and all that. But something like these big organizations where 75% of their monies earned or raised go towards business, the business side, the doing the organization, the getting advertising and all that kind of stuff. And in the end, very little goes to those that need it. So I go back and forth with my belief and trust in those organizations. They do cost money to run. I get that. But families, there are a lot of families that are worse off, well worse off than what we had dealt with our son. And they just don't seem to get the support, but it was nice being out, and also where at least for several hours in the morning, it wasn't left versus right. And that was nice. So, and then we went to a wonderful place to eat. It's a Chicago staple. If you guys are ever in Chicago and you want some heart attacks on a plate, on the south side of Chicago, their 26th and Shields is, I'm closer to 26th and Princeton, I think, is a restaurant called Rickabeans. And they do a pounded breaded steak sandwich that is huge. I would venture to say that it is probably pounded out and is about as big. They have a king size sandwich, so they pound it out, so it's very thin, Steve, very tender, pounded out steak. Hello, Donnie. It's a breaded steak sandwich that is dipped in a red sauce, and they then fold it. Or if in the middle, they put mozzarella cheese and either hot giardiniera, which I had yesterday, or sweet peppers, and then they fold it and put it in the sandwich. So the sandwich, if you get the king size, is about this big, folded. Um, I had seen it for years. If you look at some of these places to eat in Chicago on YouTube, it usually comes up. They've been in business since 1946. They're right under the Dan Ryan Expressway, just about. In fact, you park under the Dan Ryan Expressway to get there. And so they have that's their main their prize food. And yeah, Donnie, we're talking. I had a good weekend. We were talking about when on this autism walk yesterday to support the autism. Autism Speaks is the name of the organization. And then afterwards, we went to eat at a place called Rickabeans. And like I was just saying, they have this pounded out steak sandwich. It's just like, oh, it's so good. And then they have a chicken version, a pounded out chicken breast that's almost as big, fried, then dipped in a garlic butter sauce and stuffed with cheese and peppers. And they have hot dogs and hamburgers and pizza and ribs. And so if you're ever in Chicago and you want something different and very filling, I didn't really eat. We had lunch. Actually, at lunch, we got there about 12 o'clock. Yeah, that's why they call it heart attack on a plate. All that meat. My son had chili cheese dog and chili cheese fries. My wife had a sensible soup and salad. But it's the first time they went there. I went there for the first time. I had been taking my father-in-law before he passed away for his for some blood treatments in that part of town. So when he would take me out to eat afterwards, and I said, let's try this Rickabeans. And so we got a chance to go there again. So that was pretty good. Really enjoyable. So if you come to Chicago, many places to check out, many great places to eat here, but Rickabeans is here. Let me. So this is Rickabeans. Looks a little bit unobtrusive. It's a nice little building, but it's really deep. A lot of places to sit inside. You know, an old style signage and that. Is this no? This is yeah. This is a side view of one of their beef sandwiches. One of the and they do have beef and Italian sausage there too. But this is the steak sandwich. You can see it rolled with the cheese in the middle. Do we have places like that serves good fish and chips? There probably are. Don't find too many of them. But yeah, this is a pretty good place to eat. Let's see. Here you go, Andy. Here's their pizza. And they have they have ribs and chicken rib tips, and it actually is smelling pretty good. So they have deep dish and pan pizza. I say the same thing. Mine's better too. You know, wings. Here is their steak sandwich. This picture really doesn't do it justice, but it's a king-size breaded steak served with red gravy. Every time you join the stream, you get hungry. That's we can't do stuff in life without eating, right? Nova says I wouldn't know where to start with that sandwich. Yeah, it is pretty huge. Um, and they have sausage. It's just a real good place. Here's the chicken sandwich. You can have it in a couple ways. And they also have spaghetti and ravioli and um, appetizers in that. Let's see if I can find some better pictures. Let's see if I can get a good picture of this sandwich. Come on, I want a big picture. Let's go. Come. There we go. There's a view of the steak sandwich. It's huge. It's all folded over in that. Good stuff. Good stuff. We do have a lot of good places to eat. And we got lucky, so we went like I said, we weren't able to finish the walk, especially my wife. There was, we had to stop too much. She was just having lots of problems. And I seemed to like a lot of people after the walk was over with. It was sunny and beautiful. Let's see. I didn't take a lot of pictures. Here's a view from going through the parking lots. Here's Rate Field where the Chicago White Sox play. This is downtown Chicago. We still call it the Sears Tower, but it's the Willis Center. At one point was the tallest building in the world, but it got passed over. It's like the third or fourth now. But that's like center downtown Chicago. So that's looking north. No, that's looking east from there. And then we got there really early because we were worried about traffic. And we were about 40 miles. We live about 40 miles away from here, and it took us like 45 minutes to get to. So we got there before the parking lot got packed. But that's the where the White Sox play. Boo! Was a Cub fan. I've never been to this ballpark since they built it. I used to go to the old one, and in fact, they have where the original home plate was in the old field and that. But the weather was nice. Here's where everybody started walking. So it was for Autism Speaks. And the temperature was 55 degrees Fahrenheit. When we got there, it was still 43. It was cool, but the sun was out. And it made it nice and warm, to stand. Here's my goofy son. I got him in a picture there. And this is him. Here's the chili cheese fries and the chili cheese dog. So that was it was a good day. Um, that was with my Pixel. I have a Pixel 8 Pro. Oh yeah, you could get messy. He had chili all over it. It's like wipe the corner of your mouth. It's like because he had to get the chili sauce. But definitely, yeah, he's a big chili fan. So I normally would take more pictures, but I wasn't sure. I thought that we would go through the neighborhoods, maybe. Um, Chicago, kind of like maybe London, Donnie, is broken up into a lot of. There's that was called the Bridgeport area, and they have little, you know, Bridgeport is a lot of kind of Irish Italian, and then just a few blocks away is what we call Chinatown, and you got Japanese, Korean, Chinese all in that area there. And so there's little sectors of the area, and I thought we would be walking through the neighborhoods. Yeah, and I think Boston is probably most towns, I guess, are set up the same way. But that was the Bridgeport area, and the walk goes through their parking lots. I don't know. But it was a beautiful day out, and we don't often get out together that early. Trying to get my son up before 11 o'clock sometimes. That's a challenge because he stays up till 3 o'clock in the morning. But both him and my wife, like I said, it was about a 45-minute drive. So I know my wife's news. I know they slept on the way back, but it was some exercise. It was great fresh air. I have been in that part of town quite a few times, but and my wife used to go when we were dating. She used to go to the University of Illinois Chicago campus there, Circle Campus. Is it like a Saturday tradition? Not really. No, we used to go for a number of years. Like I said, you might have missed that, but it used to be along the lakefront, and which was a much nicer and longer walk. And let's see. Let me see if I can find some. I know I got some pictures from the past there. Um, when's the last time we went? Was that 21? 2021. Or is it farther back? All right, here we go. Not a lot of pictures. Um, so this was the walk. This is back in what was it? I don't need a mess. Oh, this was late in the year. Usually they have it in May, but this one they had late. I think that was uh, late because of just getting over COVID. So this is like a couple views of downtown Chicago. This is the road here is called Lakeshore Drive, runs right around the lake. Oh, come on, I don't want to do that. And it was right outside Soldier Field where the Chicago Bears play football. And there you go. See the Sears Tower. This is from the lakeside. So we have a big park. And then there's the lake, Lake Michigan. There still were some boats out in the water being in October. I didn't take many pictures. Yeah, Chicago is a real pretty city. There's despite the politics and despite the reputation.
Someone has joined the chat on YouTube.
Cody. And will that work again? I think I have a cooldown on that. I might have a cooldown on that. Whoops, that's my niece and mother-in-law. There you go, Andy. So the walk when it was along the Chicago lakefront was, of course, much better. But you had to pay for parking down there, whereas where we were at White Sox Park, they didn't charge anybody for parking. Parking by Soldier Field, even on an event, is like $20 to park for the day, even though it's for a charity organization. Even though we didn't get to see a lot of cool, like a lot of neighborhood, nice neighborhoods or anything like that, or it was still a beautiful day. And normally we have more family members join us, but I think my wife was kind of planning this, but she wasn't sure she wanted to go, and I didn't do the registration until Wednesday, so it was too late to organize anything with families or friends. But that was our big day yesterday. Today's just going to be chilling. My wife had taken the whole day off yesterday, so that was nice. Otherwise, just been working on my setup. I was trying to create an auto shout out the way I do my shout outs, and if he's still here, we're gonna do it for him because he didn't get recognized when he first came in on YouTube. We'll do a shout out for Cubicle Nate. But I think I'll just, I wanted to go to this scene, and it's not working out for me. Let's see, what else? Oh, I found some more voices for the TTS. So if you guys want to test it out, voices in my head, they're always, Andy, always. Oh. That was from the sandwich yesterday. I should do a BAM one. Maybe where I get flattened. But I found some more voices for my TTS. I found, and they, I think they're pretty decent. If you do hash or exclamation Jarvis and then a message, we'll get a TTS from Jarvis. And if you do exclamation and HAL, HAL, you'll get it from HAL Computer.
Andy 242 says in a message.
There you go. That came out pretty good. What else did I find? Oh, I don't have it set up yet. I have a drum. I'll say drum. I have a drum voice. Let's see. So it's Jarvis and Hal. Did I do Hal? I did Hal. Why aren't you working? Let's see. Hold on. Oh no. Oh no, that's right. I didn't set up Hal yet. I set up data, but I don't. Hold on a second. I got to set up data. So it's as simple as setting it up like this in Speakaboo, because it uses the Onyx system data. There we are. So actually, if you do exclamation data, you should get a data message, and then I can add in HAL real quickly here.
Andy 242 says can't compute.
I think it goes a little fast. I can slow that down. Let's see. I can set up HAL real quickly. So basically, it's just I'm going to copy, duplicate my data, and then go into here, and then we're going to change it to HAL. And there. And then, let's see, from there, I need to change it here to the voice alias, L. And then from here, I need to go into the redeems. Let's duplicate this again. Change this to HAL. We'll take that out. And then let me just change this to HAL.
Nova Charter says ode to Spot Fellis catus is your taxonomic nomenclature, an endothermic quadruped. carnivorous by nature.
It handled some of the big words, didn't it?
Nova Charter says ode to Spot Felis catus is your taxonomic
Steve,
nomenclature,
someone
an
has
endothermic
joined the
quadruped,
chat on
carnivorous by
YouTube.
nature.
Welcome to my stream.
Hey, Penguin Revolution. I didn't break. Actually, I'm adding some more voices to my setup, and then I need to go in and create a new command. Okay, and then go back to the action. Yeah, Andy's trying his best to break it. There we go. Okay, Hal should be working now. So I'm on the Linux setup. So I'm using a program called Speakaboo that works alongside SpeakerBot, or it works in place of
Andy
SpeakerBot.
242 says this is a message from hell.
Oh, why did that? I came out data instead of Hal. Maybe it takes a minute to set up. So I do have Hal set up here. Yep. Did I change the voice right? I don't break anything. Let's see. Yeah, I got that right.
Steve's very own says Dave, you broke me.
Okay. I didn't want to play around with so much tech stuff today. So. Go to redeem. Do. Or is Speakaboo.
This is a test message.
Okay, he works in the test message. Do. So, what am I doing wrong here? Got the two different commands, data for data and Hal for Hal. Let's do it this way. Let's delete the trigger and then add it back in. Okay. So, right. Rename that right. So this section is all my redeems. This is what charges you your points that you earned to be able to run it. And this is the action, which I don't put a trigger on it. I add that into the other one. I don't need a trigger on this one.
Andy242 says sorry. Dave, you are in trouble now. Take the airlock to your left.
Does not Speakaboo handle many voices? Why does Data keep coming up? Data has taken over a Hal. Data has assimilated Hal. Wait a minute, that's not Data. That's Lore. Oh. Lore is going to assimilate.
Percent user percent says percent clean message percent.
Okay, it's working there. No, it shouldn't. I don't have here's a data action. If I do a test,
Percent user percent says percent clean message percent.
so maybe let's remove Hal and add him back in.
This is a test message.
Okay. I didn't want to work on tech stuff today. Yes, Laura would do that. I think Data's just mad he didn't have any coffee. All right, let's go back up to the redeems. That's Jarvis. That's Hal.
Steve's very own says fix me Steve.
Just like doing stuff on live really sucks sometimes. That's just Hal. Let's look at Data. Data is just Data. Doing it live is the best part. And people were, I thought this guy knew what he was doing. Because I can also you can do a test message this way. And
Steve, you broke me.
oh, that was Alan.
Steve, you broke me.
Ha ha ha! You're funny, Penguin. Oh, I have to send in a thing to the developer when I do set up the aliases. Like TTS scene switch and test stay up and robot, but like these new ones, if I log out and log back in, it won't be. They'll disappear, and I have to add them in again. But I do it before the stream starts, and it's all good. No, well, the command is see lowercase Hal. The name convection up here has nothing to do with it. It's in the commands. Let me try. Maybe I spelled Hal wrong. Whoops, Hackle. And then this is the command that will work. And it's at the start. But there's nothing tying it to data. Data's got his own. And again, like if I go into the actions, the main thing that gets it from Speakaboo is this here. I have that spelt right. Voice alias Hal with a capital H. If we do a test this way.
Percent user, percent says, percent clean message, percent.
That works. So the message itself is working, but the here what we can do, we can break it down to this. Let's take Hal, and I'm going to deactivate this trigger for now, and then I'm going to add the trigger right to the message. So it won't cost, while we'll test it, it won't cost anybody any points. There's data in redeem on the last line. Oh, I know what I didn't do. Okay. Thanks, Andy. I know what I didn't do. So when I change these, when I copy them, I didn't change the action here. So thank you. That's it, Andy. All right. So now tech support invoice coming. That's I forget. So in the redeem action, so this is a redeem from Codewood TD that he created. Now I think it's part of StreamUp's stuff. And this is what I use. I replaced my old one, which was just a YouTube one, with one that can work on both YouTube and Twitch. So the whole part of this message, except till the very end, has to do with the points and the points redeem. And then you add the action that you create. You know, any of these I can add to a redeem, and that's the action. I didn't change that. So now it won't cost you anything if you want to test Hal. Go ahead. Now we got it. Go ahead and send a Hal message. I set it up on this so it won't cost you anything.
Andy 242 says this is a test message.
There we go. That was a test there for the trigger. So straight from the message, and did it sound loud enough? I have my volume low. With the music and all that, I can't seem to separate that well in Linux. So a lot of the stuff for me comes through the system. Data is smarter than Hal, and Hal is smarter than Steve. Yeah, no problem there. All right. This coffee's going to go fast today. So thanks for catching that. I don't know how I missed that. So I'll disable that trigger and I'm still sleeping. But yeah, so because like when I change it, when I set up for a redeem and I change it, so this is where I change it to how much it's going to cost. And then the other programming will figure out the code that code.td created. Will figure how much you have in points. And then it will delete the points with this one. And I set an argument. I have to change the redeem name to the value name, which is the name of the redeem. And then the way I have it, so the redeem name gets picked up in the message. So when you send the message, just redeemed. So you'll see that in a message. And then the same with YouTube. And then I have to change the action down here. So see, I got Jarvis down here. Data there. Hal there. And the regular one is TTS from chat, but that's Alan, Mr. Alan Pope from the Linux community. So there we go. All right. So now, and then I can go in and add it to my scrolling bar. Oh, I also didn't type that right. There we go. All right. Yeah, Popey dropped in on Thursday. He said hi. He thought it was cool that I have his voice for my chat. He said he was thinking of doing a higher quality voice now. But yeah, Popey stopped in at the end of my geoguessing stuff. That was nice of him to drop in. He said him and Martin and that they just got done filming recording an episode of Linux Matters. Yeah, he streams on and off. He'll multi-stream to a couple of platforms. He does to Twitch, YouTube. I forget what other platform. He's using a multi-stream setup that Martin had built. And he'll stop in once in a while and say, hey, which is really nice. So I get all the old timers that come to see me. But you're not an old timer, but at least you're coming to see me. You're coming to see me. Well, what else? Okay, we got that straight now. So now I got these multi voices. Let's see, what else did I add? Just for reference. Yeah, you're 36. I'm going to be 70. Let's see. Oh, I did. I think I got the old I think I got Marshall Barrett's voice. I got the enterprise computer. How about we set that up? We'll see how that sounds. So we'll set up a new alias. Well, since it was computer on Enterprise on Star Trek and that, we'll call it computer. Test that out.
This is a test message.
I think they talk about the speed a little bit in setting this up.
This is a test message.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like her, really. This reminds me of your old streams when we would just hang out and fart around with old school peppermint. Yeah, I don't do that. I mean, I'm more into creative stuff. I'm using OBS and things that you can use. And I go back and forth between Windows and Linux. I do like Windows to stream because I don't have to do all these stupid ass workarounds. You know, no matter what politics or whatever, Windows just has stuff that works. And then Linux having, the issues with Wayland and Ceph not having Wayland built in, so docs don't work right, which means VSTs don't work right, which I have to come up with workarounds. I have to use easy effects to make voices, which sometimes works or doesn't work. Yes, I like Windows to stream. It is so beautiful. And pretty much for a year there, I wasn't streaming on Linux at all. I had gone back to Windows.
This is a test message.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right. I'm not going to do that. We're going to move. It sounded better yesterday when I first downloaded it. But I could do Picard. That sounds pretty good. And I got K9 from Doctor Who, and I got Trump, which is going to be for special ones. So we're going to remove this alias. And then we're going to add Picard.
This is a test message.
Now, so these are voices that you get. It works with Piper TTS, and it works with a lot of home system, and it's built different ways, but it uses the Onyx file system. It sounded good. Let me set this up then. You should be talking. You got Windows 10 and a VM because that's the only way you can run Corel Paint Shop 2023. It doesn't work in Wine. Yeah, I see. In a lot of the stuff. Well, let me get this set up first, and then I'll kind of do a rant. So okay, we set up the voice alias. So now let me go into actions. I'll see if I can remember to do this right. So we're gonna. So you do duplicate. It just saves, and you just got to change a couple things instead of having to build all this. So I have all. Oops, you don't see this. Now you see this. All these actions just to get TTS working. So we're gonna change that to Picard. So in my original action, all I got to change is the speaker bot action, and change that to the voice alias, which is Picard. And we can test it.
%user %says %clean message %.
Okay, that's all I got to change there. So now we'll go back up to the redeems. We'll duplicate this. And then we'll change this to a card. Now I know what I'm doing. Not much. Then I need to change the redeem name. So at least when you get the right message, you know you redeemed right. Card. And now, oh, I also need to change that. I need to create a command. And one of the great things now on StreamerBot that Nate 1280 has done is the search function. And it just makes it so much easier to find stuff. So that's the action. And then let me go into commands, and now we're going to add a command. Oh, I don't want to add that. No, I don't want to delete it. I'm going to add Picard. Now go back to the action. We're going to delete this trigger. And then add a new trigger. Okay. Corel still exists. I mean, Steve's rants, love them. Corel Paint Shop works great in a VM, even the AI functions like background removal, which I didn't expect, but I paid for Paint Shop, so I wanted to use it. So much better than GIMP.
Someone has joined the chat on YouTube.
Oh, hello there.
Hello, Abdurrahman. Sorry if I'm going to butcher this. Muhammad Work. Welcome for stopping by. In GIMP, I use, GIMP has gotten so good now. The 3.0, actually, it's been updated a couple times now. But as far as background removal, I use Gimmick, the Gimmick background remover. It's not AI, so you still have to do some manual stuff to it, but it's pretty decent. But all I use is GIMP to make, if I do make thumbnails or stuff for the stream.
Steve's very own says make it so.
There we go. So now I got Picard. Don't have to use Tangia. Even with Paint Shop, you still need to adjust the mask for the background removal in some case, but it's still good.
Andy242 says data, will you please uninstall that emotion chip? It's unbearable.
All right, so now we got some extra voices on my TTS, which I cannot do on the Windows side. Now I'm going to look at replacing SpeakerBot on the Windows side with Speakaboo, because you can install Speakaboo with Piper. The developer has, I believe she has a way that it's multi-platform, very lightweight, it doesn't have everything that SpeakerBot has, so it can't do, and I don't think you can have both of them running. But Speakaboo is just very simplistic. It does not have the ability to do online AI voices like SpeakerBot does, because you can do Google and TTS Monster and all that stuff. Piper, but the developer has a way to install that on Windows too, so you can install it on Mac too, I think. Penguin says, "Don't get me wrong, I love GIMP 3, but Paint Shop has all the pro filters in that. You just use I've been using GIMP. I mean, well before I even started in Linux. I've been using GIMP for God, I was on Windows 7, maybe XP. How far back does it go? I used to like all the extra, I guess you would call them plugins today, but they were scripts. And there was one called the National Geographic script that I really liked that would do all sorts of enhancing and all that with a picture. And it would give you that kind of National Geographic grainy 35 millimeter look. But I don't do the photo editing as much as I do. I create stuff is what I do. Then so on the Windows side too with SpeakerBot, I found there's a script that you can install that takes the SAPI 5. Now, SAPI 5 only has David and Zira, and I guess you can play with the pitching in that and change it, but David and Zira kind of suck. But you can install and it has to be Windows 11. You can install some of the Azure voices, and the script reads the Azure voices and changes them into SAPI 5. So now I actually have more SAPI 5 voices. So the difference is the one of the things that there is an issue with, especially if you're using the AI voices for TTS, the delay. You have an internet delay at times. The lag could be really bad on that. At least with the SAPI 5, I'm able to, it's pretty quick. Now, with Speakaboo, I mean, it's all local. It's not going out the cloud. So my voice control that I have for changing scenes doesn't go out anywhere. That's all local. The Speakaboo, the Onyx voices are installed on your system. The Onyx voices, the original like Piper download has a lot of voices in there, you know. So you've multiplied it, what you can use for TTS. And there are ways, so you can install certain I forget the names of them right now, but there's a couple of voice language models or creators that you can install on your system that you can develop voices and save them in an Onyx format and add them to your setup. But like I said, I found, you know, so I got Bobby, I have Picard, I have Data, I have Trump, I have, which I don't know if I really want to use. I hate the fucker, but Hal and K9 and Kronk, Alan Pope, and there's like several English and American voices. And why? I didn't ask for the last camera to change. Who's hacking me? I have to create a log for my voice system. Computer main view. It's been picking up some.
Here's the main view, boss.
It's Hal, yeah. Because at least on the Windows side, because StreamerBot handles the voice control. SpeakerBot does not. And StreamerBot uses the Windows voice control. It's going through Windows. And then you create a message to, kind of like what I do here too, but it's all local, and it's much quicker. You want computer left monitor?
It's the left monitor, boss.
Here's all my, and these are all like composite scenes or nested scenes. You have to, when using SpeakerBot, if you're doing stuff like holodeck and matrix and all that, you need to have two camera setups. One's a source copy, and then I have the main setup, and then a black and white one, and then I have utilities. So all these get bundled in. My main scenes are just these down here. These are the scenes that I really use, and these are composites, if you want to put it that way. What I use for nested scenes and all that, where I create my scenes. And this is really not a lot compared to what some have. And I have 31 plugins. I finally found a halfway decent background removal. It works better. It's called Background Removal Lite. Doesn't look, it's and again, on Windows, I can have NVIDIA AR, and I can have the NVIDIA background removal, which is beautiful. I also use that background removal to remove background on certain videos on some of my actions. Like Karen here, I used the NVIDIA background removal to take her out of the background. That's my Karen. I think she's staring at you, Penguin. Look at, oh yeah. Don't don't look at me. So I created that on Windows and all that. But this is what the background remover light looks like. I just take a picture of my room before I stream. And this uses very little resources. It actually uses a GPU, where in Linux on the background removal from Roy Shellett is very intensive. Yeah, Karen, you got to watch out for that, Karen. So this is not perfect, but it's better. And the resources, I mean, it doesn't even affect my frames per second, whereas the other background removal, it uses a different programming setup in it. Yeah, I talk technical. Because getting NVIDIA AR to work in Linux, yeah. So that's another plus for the Windows side, NVIDIA AR, when you're on an NVIDIA machine. That's because NVIDIA hasn't put their AI stuff in their Linux drivers yet. Yes, there is. Actually, there is. It is called... I think it's the Linux Maxine. There is one that supposedly works on Ubuntu. Oh, they did that a while ago. I've been looking into it. I don't think I can get it on Arch. Here we go. So they have Linux audio effects. There's audio and then there's video, but it's like the no, actually they don't. It's not. It's if it's in the AUR, it's not right. It's old. It's not. You have to go through a couple of steps to try to get it to work on Linux. Most of it's designed for Ubuntu. Let's see. I want. Let me do it this way. But you have to go through NVIDIA to try to get this. So, Ubuntu 2004, 2204, 2404, which they updated. Debian 11 and 12, Rocky Linux RHEL, and on the drivers 570 or later. But I had been looking at it. You know, in my simpler days, and I think I'm going to start releasing some of my earlier videos. I did release a couple of them recently, a couple of tutorials that I did, because I put all of my old videos in private because they're just old now. You know, they're 4 or 5 years old. So I mentioned earlier, you know, I just totally changed the way I do streaming. I got out of the doing reviews and all that because everybody does it and it gets rather repetitive. And you got the new generation of Linux users coming in and doing it. And the talk show format, though which can be fun at times, can be rather, boring, especially when people don't really engage and keep the task and all that. Well, usually, I mean, a lot of stuff, I don't think they have a lot of proprietary stuff. Excuse me a second. But there are certain steps that you have to go through, I think, to get it. And if you mention it in the Discord Linux forum on OBS, those guys will say, oh, it's only for servers only. But it doesn't say for servers only, even though they had rel in there and that. I think it's just a step, several steps that you have to do. I didn't want to go back to a green screen. I hated setting up a green screen all the time, and I got really spoiled with the NVIDIA AR on Windows. Where the background remover is really good. And where this one is actually a big improvement compared to the other one, this background remover. If I don't move, it's pretty decent. But like, I may have to do something behind me because of this spot right here. When an action runs. And if you see if I move, if I stay still, it's fine. It's not too bad. The way it follows the motion. Again, this one is much better. And I actually had this one is not in the AUR, and I had to compile it myself. Yeah, there's worse. If you look at the oh shit, what was Skype? The Skype background remover in that. But this one actually sees my NVIDIA card. The other one didn't. Or it did, but it didn't work. Boy, my frames per second would go from 60 to 20. And my CPU usage would go from 11 to 20 on the one from Roy's Skillet. Now I wouldn't, so I don't need to have, since I don't have a green screen, or I don't put up a green screen, I don't need to have the background remover up. Skill shot, something like that. I don't want to butcher Roy's name too much. Shilkrock. Turn that off. So, by Royce Shilkrock. I mean, it's pretty, but it is so CPU intensive. So I found this one. This one's in there now. It's called background light. And this one is by Umi Rian. And I had to do the look at this one here. I'll put this one in the excuse me. In the chat. The settings in that are a bit different. And I can kind of show those. Let me go back to the left so I can go into studio mode. You kind of see this. Yeah, oh, it was actually pretty simple. It doesn't scare me either, but you know, I'm doing stuff that even though I've been in Linux for a long time, I've never done between all the scripts and all that. I was really determined to get close to my Windows setup on Linux, and I've come pretty close. So let's see. I have it on my Droid Cam here. So if I go to filters and light, so it looks a lot different. They have a couple of different settings here. You have to play with it to to get your system just right. There's no right or wrong settings on here. It's what looks good to you. But it has all these settings and it does work. I think the pipeline is a bit different. It works so much better. Everything works better with a green screen. But again, I don't want to put up a green screen and have a whole bunch of stuff. That's me. But that's the background remover light. Roland SC55 on Linux. What is that? What is the Roland? But he has the live background remover light is for Windows, Mac, or Linux. He has an easy for Ubuntu install, but the Arch install wasn't. The Roland Sound Canvas. Andy Gotts managed to achieve application audio channel separation on Pipewire. Wanted to do that for years, but never got it. Oh, the old MIDI stuff on DOS games. Okay. I am going to be right back. The coffee is hitting me really quick, so I'm going to take a quick break. Enjoy a video. Breaking news, this just in. Cubicle Nate, longtime OpenSUSE addicted Linux user, is going back to Windows. News at 10. This should send the message over to my announcement channel, and then it will send a message to Twitch. And I'm going to change this to the bot just for the heck of it, and let's see what let's see another can. Let's the create a clip function. Let's see how this will look. So it grabs a 30 seconds from Twitch, But again, I'm not sure, so we're gonna test this out. I did a couple of my tests. So I guess what would this be good for? Well, if I decided for 30 seconds I wanted to say something worth. Okay, that's better. Normally I can wait. All right. But I just love doing OBS, whether it's on Linux or Windows, and being creative. I know a lot of people don't particularly get into. Maybe I should rephrase that. There's a lot of people that are interested in OBS, whether it be Windows or Linux. I am seeing a big, in the Linux forum on Discord for OBS, I am seeing a big increase in questions of people just coming from Windows to Linux. The fact that they're trying Linux for the first time and then trying OBS on Linux for the first time, or maybe just trying OBS for the first time in general on Linux, not having run it on Windows, that people just have not a fucking clue of what they're doing. And I blame a lot of the videos out there that, come over to CashOS and play these games. And then, okay, well, now I'm going to try to get OBS to run on CashOS, which you can, but it's like their version. It's all different, and people can't get stuff to work. Well, if you're a first-time user, what are you going to CashOS for, I may not be the most knowledgeable guy out there, but if you're going to test out Linux for OBS and you're looking to stream, start simple. And because then too many people then expect Windows to have their Windows-like experience on Linux, and it doesn't happen. And then in so many cases, a lot of Linux people, not to be offensive or anything, what does Linux do? It saves old hardware. And what is difficult to stream on? Old hardware. Caveat, if you are just doing a camera and using OBS, if that's how you want to stream, that's fine. But start adding plugins to that, or start adding recording and playing games at the same time. It's not going to work. I don't care what you do. And people think that they have that CSI mentality. You know how like the cop shows, they take a picture of a very blurred license plate, and in they use they did in the beginning, in the days, they didn't talk about AI, but they used computer enhancement, and all of a sudden you got this garble look like perfect. It's better today, but it does not happen. That's bullshit. So they think that every computer can do that. And they want to know why. Why can't I do this? So I'm going to start doing some videos on that. But as far as like doing the Linuxy stuff, I got tired of the community. I got tired of it's funny in the beginning, but then it's like the same joke over and over again, the picking on Windows and that. I don't care about the politics there. I really don't. To me, a computer is a computer. And if it does what I need it to do, I'm using it. I don't care what anybody else says about it. And that's how we should look at it. It's a tool. Might not always be the great tool. I mean, you might not have, a wrench is a wrench, but there's a wrench from like the tools from Sears last forever, right? A wrench from Sears is going to be immensely better than a wrench from your maybe local hardware store, which gets cheap wrenches. The community exhausting, and not to put anybody down. I love Nate. I love watching his stuff, but I don't. But those tools are very handy if you live in an apartment and you just need a quick tool? But if you're working on stuff in a house, that's not going to work. But I think I'm gonna get kind of like back into that. I was looking at some of my older short tutorials when I got a bit better, and I think now I talk a lot better and I can design things or set up things a bit better. But my short material is always better than my long ones because I don't talk very fast, and I hate videos with abrupt cuts where talking and their head is all over the place. Yeah, I left. I'm in there. I joined the Discord. I love music, but speaking Andy Lippy, ayo. I also have a problem with gatekeeping. I'm just going to leave it at that. I just there's a lot of gatekeeping that goes on. And though I want my stream to be nice and friendly, I'm not a kid friendly. You will hear me swear. I don't have a problem with swearing. If you want to bring up politics, you can bring up what I hate. I don't like people insulting others. That won't happen. But I was hearing the gate creaking last night, and then the gate came slam shut. And your stream, you do what you want. But a lot of the Linux stuff, I got tired of, and that's why I really don't do a lot of that. I mean, not everybody's going to use 31, 32, 34 plugins. And I want to share what I've kind of learned. It's not always everything. I can't tell you how to stream and record a game at the same time. Stream a game and record. It's not my thing. And everybody wants to record it in 4K. What the F for? That's like, oh, your gameplay is so important, you need it recorded in 4K? For what? And these people trying to set up 4K stuff on a laptop. Well, my laptop's, like they'll send their log and it's like, well, my laptop's relatively new, and they'll say it's 12 years old. It's still a niche and a niche and a niche and a niche. Yeah, I'm not here to tell anybody that that's not way to stream, that you got to stream like me. No. But from my years of viewing stuff on either an older PC or the laptop, I know what works and what doesn't. You okay. There we go. There might be millions of viewers, but the streamers are not that many anymore. But everybody someone, I mean, I don't want to pick on people. But everybody thinks that streaming is something that they can make money off right away. Make money off of right away. And that's not the case. Not everybody is PewDiePie. Some people really have a lot of things behind them that can make them big and good. But in most cases, most of these people know the technology and what to use. And when you're asked a simple question, well, what kind of system do you have? And you go, I don't know, in the forum. 4K, you need, yeah. Well, I'll do 2K, or, you know, and they might have the PC for it, but everybody thinks that their PC is great. I mean, I stream. I either get, you know, good viewers, or I get one viewer. I don't care. This is more for me to keep my mind going. How many 70-year-old? I'm going to be 70. I'm going to be 70 in a few months. How many 70-year-old boomers do you see streaming like this? And I'm getting a bit monetized thanks to people like Andy and that, you know, on Twitch. I know I'm not going to make a ton of bucks, and I appreciate it. It is a very nice sentiment. That's not why I'm here. You know, I'm the only boomer that that streams. I do know a few. I see a lot on Twitch. But this is a personal evolution. You know, this keeps me going, and I'm pretty much vlogging my life. But I'm having fun. Do things fuck up and we have problems? Oh my God, Andy, right? How many times do we have problems when all of a sudden I whack the mic and my mic goes out, or the sound is bad? And it's like, what did we do? And it's not just me. Every time. Even the best of streamers, even the most technical, have technical problems. And sometimes, even though it gets exasperating, it's fun watching them try to fix something, because you know it's going to happen to you, right? And then you know what to do. I mean, my wife noticed a big difference in me when I started doing this. And I think one of these days, one of my streams is going to be, we're going to look at some of it'll be an embarrassing situation, but we'll look at some of my earlier streams and how I streamed. And how I knew and didn't know OBS. I mean, I know so much more now, but still so much less. I keep my settings simple. And so like with this my music player, or my lower thirds, I've used AI to help me build them. Not 100% perfect because I'm using a free version, but I know it's faulty, right? The message I have sent out for what's now playing, I was getting double messages, so I was on Gemini. And Gemini was giving me all these tips and all that, and I'm like, this doesn't work. This isn't right. And it turns out it was a simple of a message. It took where on StreamerBot, I had to posted a message. Hey, I'm having this issue, and someone posted it totally opposite of what Gemini was suggesting. So as I use it, I know it's a tool and I know it's going to mess up because the free version is just a free version. Now, if I was getting a paid version, like version 5 or whatever, I probably wouldn't have to worry about that kind of stuff. But for the free version, you do. People are posting problems on the Discord forum, whether it be in Windows or Linux. And most of those people all those people in the forum are volunteers, right? None of them get paid. They don't get paid. They don't work for OBS. They're doing it because they like OBS and they either on Windows or the Linux side, whatever they're doing, plugins, audio, or whatever, they like doing that. And they've been doing it for a while. And they might not always be the nicest people, but if you go through the forum, boy, do they get slammed with some ignorant shit. And people will question, well, Claude told me that this is what it should be. So now you're taking something from Claude, the free version, or Gemini or ChatGPT, and you're questioning someone that's been using OBS for years on what the settings should be. My stream lags. It doesn't look as good as this one. It doesn't look as good as that one. Well, you're on a goddamn potato. Oh, you mean there's no like magical settings I can set on my computer even though it's a potato? And not everybody, I look like I look like a genius to my family, and I know I'm not compared to the people that I know in the community in that, whether it be on Windows or Linux. Most people in the forums aren't the nicest because they deal with stupid shit. Or they try to be helpful. And these people, they're not language barrier because we're only doing in English here. There's no private video chats. So they can keep things documented at that. And, using a translator. And even with a translator, some of the questions in that. So there is things that are lost in translation. I kind of get that. But when you're flat out refusing because AI told you another way, well, then just go with AI and have fun and have a good life. That's my bitch session, I could tell you what do we always say in Linux Penguin? Well, it works for me. I could tell you what works for me. It might not work for you. But I can take, so that's probably a 13-year-old, 14-year-old laptop running Arch EndeavourOS XFCE, so I can monitor the stream. I have YouTube on one side, Twitch on the other, so I can see if the stream breaks up in that, so I don't have to have that on my computer. And can I run OBS on that? Yeah. Can I run any plugins on it? Barely. It's not going to be the case. Yeah, I would rather be helpful. But, and then the desperation sometimes. Someone we all think because we could stream that we're maybe be important. You know you do. What are you talking? No. And for those that not understanding, RTFM means read the fucking manual. Which you used to get like an arch in that a lot. I always believe in trying to be helpful. I can get you maybe to a certain point, or I can direct you to a certain point. I don't know everything, and I'll tell you that. I do not know everything. And the problem is I forget a lot what I learn. You're not that important. No. This does things for us that, I know streaming helped me speak better, present myself better. After so many years in retail, my last 10 years was a great improvement because of this. I was a go-to person and all that. My wife notices a big difference. It's not easy getting up here, but like someone in the forum the other day that I was reading, something wasn't working and they had scheduled their very first stream and it was an absolute disaster because they couldn't get to their very first stream that they posted they were going to stream. Secret? Do little streams first to make sure everything works and you know how to work it. Yeah, that's it. We all been there, But, just be nice, be helpful. There's nothing wrong with being helpful. I recently got, someone had a Dell that has a hybrid graphics in it, has the Intel 4000 and an old NVIDIA. I forget what number he had, and he couldn't get some of the Linux to install on it. So we were talking about MX Linux, and he's got KDE, and it's running fine for him, But I said, go to the forum. I can get you here, and I can help you. Yeah, I don't set up because of the way I stream, because I multi-stream, and my main platform. My main goal these days is to improve my platform on Twitch. YouTube, as great as it is for video and that, it is not a streamer's platform. You can stream on it, but the stuff you can do on platforms like Twitch that help engagement, there's the stuff you can do. I mean, StreamerBot is geared towards working with the Twitch API. YouTube API is very closed. There's a lot of things for streamers that, the dumbest thing that Twitch did. I'm sorry, the dumbest thing that YouTube did is that little in the chat, the heart button, or you can do different emojis so they float up the chat. Like, it does nothing for the stream. If you guys send emojis here, well, I captured my emojis with Social Stream Ninja, so you can do that in YouTube too. That is the dumbest thing that could only see floating in the chat. And it covers the bottom line when someone's posting something. I hate that thing. It's not, you should not see it on my YouTube. I removed that. Older NVIDIA sometimes don't work, especially, they're not, any of the newer NVIDIA drivers are not supporting that. In fact, they'll be pretty much. You're going to see the 1080s being passed up soon. The emojis on YouTube, I like some of the emojis. Emojis are emojis. They're fun. Some people hate them. I don't like seeing them on the stream. DJ 506 on Twitch, great DJ, open platform DJ. We won't hold it against him that he's from Canada, but some guy some poster got all crappy with him because if he allowed emojis to float on his screen. My gosh. This guy does. I mean, I got 34 plugins on Windows. He's got 37. And scenes, some of these people are just amazing what they do. Oh, just amazing. But you stream how you stream, I try. There's a couple of people out there in the community that could benefit from a little bit of improvement. And I know they have old equipment. And I've tried, but they there's a big difference. So I think the Twitch people knew this already from the moment that Twitch started, and you were able to stream on it, and that it was geared towards streamers, where YouTube was a side thing. So back in the early days, we would be able to go live on YouTube using Hangouts, which was fine, but there was no graphics, no nothing to tell you what show you were on and what you were watching. And many YouTube, and I'll point out Linux streamers think that that's the way to stream and won't improve. And after a while, it's boring, or there's the engagement. My God, you got to be able to talk. I sometimes mumble and fumble and. What's my mind going to take me? Where is it going to take me? But I know I'm not always going to have someone in the stream when I first start streaming. So you got to talk. How many people I've seen that just, I'll wait till the first person comes in, or they'll be playing a game and don't say nothing. Or like, if I go on break, you see a break scene, I'm on break. But if I just did a scene where it was just a graphics and I'm talking over, and you don't see me and I stop talking, you don't know if I took a break or not. Well, the 1880 should work for a while soon, and NVIDIA will still maintain them for security for a while. They're just adding features. Yeah, the 39, like the HP that I have up there actually has what is it? It's an NVIDIA. It used to only took the 390. It might have only took it to 340. I think EndeavourOS just installed the Nouveau driver on it, which is fine. All I use that for is for monitoring. As long as I get a web browser up there and that, and I can get to my channels, I'm good. But that's all I want to do is help people kind of improve their status a little bit. If I can get them to even be better than me, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. I think this is the most technical stuff I've talked about on a Sunday in a while. So today it's supposed to be rainy most of the day. Yeah, the Nouveau drivers are fine. I know what to expect out of it. But in the chat last night in the Linux Saloon, I was watching and someone was saying, how they use MX Linux, which is fine. Which is is a good distro for either old or modern laptops or computers. But they'll only open 2 tabs at a time no more than 2 tabs on their browser, or no more than 2, maybe 3 applications. What if you want to do multiple stuff and all that? At what point is that laptop good for you, or that desktop good for you? I don't know. That's just me. It's great that we can save these old things. I mean, with MX, you can get the, he's got an AHS, automatic hardware, whatever, for more modern computers. I won't use Debian for streaming or anything like that because, yeah, that's just not where I'm going to go. And I thought about sticking with Ubuntu, but the LTSs at times could be, as far as hardware and that. And I'm not going to go through, it's going to be in the LTS, not the periodic updates, because they're just testing stuff. I would have an easier setup if I was on an Ubuntu system and I did the Pop OS, Jesus Christ, the OBS setup from their PPA, because a lot of plugin creators are bundling their plugins for Linux too, which is a big step. Now, I don't use the Flatpak because the Flatpak is very limited on plugins. And some you can get to a workaround around, most of them you can't. But of the 30 plus plugins I use, only 15 are in a Flatpak. You've got an older 4 gig laptop that has MX, but that's just one lug to run coffee shops and that. I have I forget the model number. It's another HP. It's running EndeavourOS XFCE, and I have Variety Wallpaper Changer on it, and I have it as a family slideshow. So I got to upload some more pictures, so I upload pictures in that, and it's only a 14-inch monitor, so it's not really huge, but it's big enough. That's only got 4 gigs of memory in it. And that's running all the time. I prefer if on my desktop, I prefer being on GNOME. I used to be a big XFCE guy with Peppermint and that back in the day. Now I can't run XFCE. Also, OBS Flatpak has security warning on it now because of the older runtime pack it uses. It's not recommended. Yeah, for they haven't updated the 2604 yet. And it depends on how you want to use your computer and that. Like for my wife, I actually have her on EndeavourOS. Well, all she does is watch YouTube, email, search, podcasts. She really does nothing else. and it works for her. The only problem is the laptop I got her it's a very nice older HP, heavy duty, but the battery life sucks on it. Yeah, that was like the only PPA I had on when I was on Pop OS was for the OBS. I had stopped. Most things are not, you don't have to get a PPA for, and then most of my software is flat packs anyway. So, well, my friends, unfortunately, see, my wife is going to get ready to go to work, and I want to say goodbye to her before she goes to work. I'm surprised, Andy, that you didn't run off and do the pizza already. Pizza night, right? What's your favorite pizza? What do you like putting on your pizza, Andy? I know you've told me, but I've forgotten. You use this the Snap OBS, and that's not officially supported too. And that's something that was put together, years ago by Martin, and it's been updated, but it's still. Okay. So what do you like on your pizza, Andy? My son likes bacon and pepperoni when he can get an Italian sausage. Snapcrafters maintain it. Oh, today will be sandwiches with hot sauce, pizza wise. It's ham, pepperoni, what's available. I like a good deluxe pizza. I would like bacon, pepperoni, sausage, green onion, not green onion, onions, green peppers, sometimes tomatoes, and sometimes jalapenos. You had tuna yesterday, which was good with onions. You weren't kissing anybody afterwards, were you? You. Woo! Yeah, I like a good deluxe pizza and that. And I like my ingredients on top because I like them to brown a little bit. Not under the cheese. I don't want them steamed. you, you wouldn't care. You used to use a shit ton of PPAs, but now with the snaps, you don't need them anymore. Yeah, I don't. I can't remember the last snap I used. Most of my packages are flat packs or the app image. For streaming, I use the Touch Portal app. Well, it's for Linux. Touch Portal's only in Linux, an app image. For Social Stream Ninja, for Linux, it's only in an app image. And then I use a community version of YouTube Music in an app image. Because the community version comes with plugins. And it comes with the Tuna plugin, so I can get stuff for the album art and that off of it. Yeah, I know people talk about the flat packs and the size and all that, but it's like. But anyway, my friends, I do have to get ready to go. I am not sure about streaming this week. I am having some oral surgery done tomorrow. I have a small wisdom tooth that has grown into my jaw, and I have to have that removed. Yeah, I use it's not called YouTube Music anymore, the app image, it's Pair. But it's basically YouTube Music in probably a electron wrap, but it has a ton of plugins. And so it has a Tuna plugin to work with Tuna on OBS. Which, again, with the Flatpak, you can't use Tuna because they're not going to bundle enough. They used to. There used to be a Flatpak. I can't find it anymore. But there's no Tuna or there's no VLC in the Flatpak because it's too much of an issue for them to bundle it. But the YouTube app image has ad blockers, so I don't see ads. Yeah, I thought, Pairs Electra, it's just, it's great. All right, my friends. So, computer, time to say goodbye. Computer, time to say goodbye. There we go. All
you all for
right. I
stopping
want
by.
to thank Andy242, Nova Charter, Donnie Lucifer, Cody Lamer, Penguin. I know, and I'm sorry, Muhammad Work for butchering that. And computer doesn't want me to go. And Cubicle Nate, I know, was here earlier. And because of the way I was fixing my shout outs, he didn't get shouted out. So that's why his name's not up there. So again, I'm not sure how it will go this week with streaming and how I'll be able to talk, but I have an impacted wisdom in my jaw and they have to have that removed. So it's going to be difficult, maybe to talk for a few days. So I will try to stream later on. If not, I will see you in about a week. Everybody take care. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate the chat. You guys take care. Have yourself a beautiful day. Bye now.